Hey everyone, it's Jiska, and this is another day out of my life. And today I've been doing a lot of stuff that English people would call sharpening the saw. And that is the most annoying thing to do for people who are ambitious, action takers, impatient, want to see results quickly, um, all that kind of stuff. But it is super important. They say sometimes, like most of the time, you're doing stuff that falls on the sharpening the saw, and then you can reap what you saw, which is another way, a figure of speech, as in then you see the outcome of what you've been putting in. And that comes at the very end. So you can reap what you saw at the very end. Anyway, today has been a lot of work, a lot of reading, a lot of research, a lot of studying, a lot of listening to what other people are doing. And that is allowed. That is okay. That's completely fine. You are allowed to steal a good idea rather than come up with a wrong idea yourself. This is part of your market research. It's part of looking what your competitors are doing, what will be your style, what will not be your style, and why, and how do other people go about stuff that you have in your head, and how do they connect with an audience, how do they frame their product, what is their language, and why does that work for them, and would that work for your product or service too. So yeah, I've been sharpening the saw. And to be very honest, it's annoying, but it's also very addictive. And you should be wary that you don't get stuck in this phase. You should not forever be the student. At some point, you need to start implementing things, taking action. And I love the term take massive imperfect action. That is incredibly important to remember for perfectionists. I feel I was a perfectionist 10 years ago. I feel I am sometimes a perfectionist right now. And I sometimes just need to tell my brain and my ego that massive perfect action is where it's at, is where you will hit the ground running and where you will eventually get to the point where you can reap what you saw. If you just stay, I think this is the best example, and my mentor Stuart Ross actually talked about this recently. You can, or was it Stu? I think it was Stuart Ross. You can study how to ride a bicycle, or was it Justin? Can't remember. You can read about how to ride a bicycle. You can study it. You can watch other people ride a bicycle. You can read reviews about how to ride a bicycle. You can assume and listen to other people as to how to do it, how not to do it. But until you get on that bike yourself, you won't be able to do it and to learn it and to get better at it and to know what it feels like. You need to get on that bicycle and you need to get the hang of things. You need to feel, and you need to try, and you need to find your balance on that bicycle. You need to do it yourself. At some point, you're done reading, listening, learning, watching, observing, and you need to just take action and get on that bicycle. So it is important to know everything about that bicycle, or to know everything about your product and business and service and program and whatever you're creating, or a social media profile, for example. You need to make a planning. You see what works, what you want to do, what you don't want to do. You need to sharpen that saw, but you want to then use that saw. You want to get on that bike. You want to start building stuff and do stuff. So I have a quick tip before I round off. To get yourself into the habit or to make yourself move, I go to the gym. At some point, I'm done with letting my brain and my head work and do a lot of brainstorming, and I just need to get up and get into physical action. And if it's if it's not for my business, I just go to the gym and I make sure I do make those movements, because creativity is released when you move. And I was thinking about this today, actually. It is more difficult to start pushing a car or something heavy that's standing still. Whereas if it's rolling, like if you've been through that first, difficult push and it starts rolling, it's easier. It's easier to then keep it going. And that's the same with going to the gym. It's the same with, I love spinning. So it's the same with being on that bicycle. The first pushes are very difficult, but then when you are moving, it's easier to keep it going. I experienced this actually with running the Marathon of New York that I talked about earlier in one of my previous videos. If you want to go check that out. It's at some point I was running for so long, so many hours, and I was quite tired, so I wanted to stop running and start walking. And also there was this water point, like every other whatever miles or kilometers, whatever you're used to counting at. There are water points, and I wanted to just, at some point walk and drink my water, just because I was spilling all the water before because I was running and drinking, and now I was planning on just taking it slow. And my legs there was so much energy in my legs, I couldn't walk. So I was surprised about finding out that I just had to keep running, and that was easier. It was easier to keep running than to walk. Weird experience, but a lovely experience. I love how that works. But it's the same for your business. You need to keep going. You need to prevent to just stop and go, because that's very tiring. It will take up a lot of energy. Why was I saying this? You have to keep in movement. You have to move for things to keep progressing and rolling, and to keep coming up with stuff, and to be able to make progress. It's easier. It's just easier. That's just how it works mentally, physically, and I think it's a natural law. So yeah, today was about sharpening the saw, reading, and then I want some action so I could think things over while dying on the bicycle in the gym. That's how I feel on the bicycle. But yeah, and now I'm back behind my laptop for another couple hours before I head to bed, and I want to put stuff into practice. So that was my day. I'm quite excited about this day, even though it feels like very slow progress. But I know that everything I saw is implementable and was useful. Like sometimes you just find stuff like this and it's very, very accurate and very useful. Sometimes you have days and then you do the research, and at the end you feel like nothing was actually very relevant for your business. Well, that's all part of it. That's all part of it. Let's talk about accepting moments for whatever they are, not wishing they were different, and about how timing is divine always. Let's talk about that in another video. Anyway, I want to round off for today. Thanks for watching and listening. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. That would be a huge help to me. It's free for you, so please do so, and like my Facebook page. Both you can find under Jiska Joanna. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.